Is your pocket change hiding a secret fortune? You might be holding a common-looking penny that could actually be worth over $1,000. Most people ignore these Lincoln cents, but collectors know the truth. From the rare 1956 double die strikes to the mysterious 1982 variations that keep experts arguing, today I'm revealing the 5 specific years you need to check right now. Don't spend another cent until you see if you've got one of these hidden gems in your collection. Let's dive into the errors that are changing the game. The 1956 Lincoln cent is a fascinating piece of numismatic history that often flies under the radar compared to its more famous 1955 counterpart. However, for those who know exactly what to look for, this coin can represent a significant discovery. If you have been searching through your rolls of vintage pennies, this is one year that demands your full attention, as it is home to one of the most sought-after varieties in the entire Lincoln cent series. The primary reason this coin is on the radar of serious collectors is the elusive 1956D double die Obverse. While the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of cents that year, it is the Denver minted versions that often hide the most spectacular errors. A true double die occurs during the hubbing process, where the design is stamped onto the die multiple times, creating a clear doubled image on the letters or the date. On a 1956D cent, look closely at the Liberty and the In God We Trust inscriptions. If you see a distinct separation or a ghosted second image, you might be looking at a rare error that sets this coin apart from the standard circulation strike.
When we talk about market value, we are talking about a serious potential. A standard 1956 Lincoln cent in typical circulated condition is essentially worth its face value, or a small premium for collectors. However, in the realm of high-grade, certified errors, the numbers change drastically. A 1956D double die Obverse, especially one preserved in mint state condition, graded MS65 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC, can easily command prices well over $1,000. In some cases, depending on the strength of the doubling and the overall eye appeal of the coin, auction results have proven that these specimens are highly prized by numismatists. The sales history of these coins is a testament to the fact that rarity drives the market. We have seen these specific error coins sell at major auctions and private sales for substantial amounts. Investors and collectors are constantly scanning the market for these gems because they understand that a tiny misalignment in the minting process, which happened decades ago, can result in a massive financial windfall today. It is not just about the copper. It is about the scarcity and the technical story behind the strike.
Before we move on to the next coins in our list, I want to hear from you. If you have a 1956 Lincoln penny in your collection, or if you think you might have found one of these errors, please let me know in the comment section below. I am very curious to see what you have found in your own searches, so don't hesitate to share your findings. Moving on to the 1960 Lincoln cent, we enter one of the most debated and exciting chapters in modern numismatics. If you think all 1960 pennies are the same, you are missing out on a massive opportunity. This is a year where a simple detail, the size and shape of the date, can be the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth several $1,000s. The most critical factor you need to master for 1960 is the distinction between the small date and the large date varieties. This applies to both the Philadelphia and the Denver mints. When you look at the 1960 penny, focus your eyes on the digits 1, 9, and 6. On a large date, the top of the number 6 is level with the top of the 9, and the tail of the 6 is distinct. However, the small date is much more elusive. The 6 and the 9 appear lower, and the gap between the 0 and the 9 is tighter.
Now, why does this matter so much? It comes down to rarity. In 1960, the mint switched production mid-year, creating 2 different types. The 1960D small date over large date is a premier variety that every serious collector hunts for. When you are inspecting these coins, look for signs of a ghost date underneath the primary date. This is an error that occurred when the mint attempted to correct the date size on the die without fully removing the original impression. It is a subtle, technical masterpiece of an error that collectors are willing to pay a premium for. Regarding the value, the market for 1960 high-grade varieties is incredibly robust. While a standard 1960 penny is common, a 1960D small date or a pristine specimen of a 1960 small date can easily climb into the four-figure range when they are graded at the MS66 or MS67 levels. We've seen these specific specimens cross the 1,000, 2,000, and sometimes even higher thresholds in top-tier numismatic auctions. These coins aren't just old change, they are investment-grade assets. The demand from registry set collectors, people who try to build the absolute finest collection of Lincoln cents, is what drives these prices upward. When a high-grade 1960 variety hits the auction block, the competition is fierce because these coins are becoming increasingly difficult to find in the wild.
When collectors talk about high-value Lincoln cents, the 1968 edition often becomes the center of attention. This is a year where the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints were all in action. But for those hunting for a major payday, there is one specific error that stands above the rest: the 1968S double die obverse. If you find a 1968 penny, you need to pull out your magnifying glass and inspect the obverse inscriptions, especially the words Liberty and the motto In God We Trust. On a standard coin, these letters should be crisp and clean. However, on the rare double die variety, you will see a clear, distinct doubling effect. This error occurred because the die itself was misaligned during the manufacturing process. It is one of the most recognizable and highly sought-after varieties in the entire series, and because it is relatively rare, the market value for these coins is impressive. When we discuss the numbers, this is where the excitement really builds. While a standard 1968 penny is common, a certified 1968S double die obverse, especially one graded in mint state condition, around MS63 to MS65, can easily sell for over $1,000. In premium grades, these coins have even exceeded the $2,000 mark at major numismatic auctions. Collectors are constantly looking to add this specific error to their collection, and because the supply is so limited, the demand remains consistently high.
This coin is a perfect example of why you should never overlook your spare change. A small mistake at the mint back in 1968 created a piece of history that is now worth a significant amount of money. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or just someone who enjoys looking through old jars of coins, the 1968 double die is a must-have that could drastically increase the value of your collection. If you are a serious coin hunter, the 1969 Lincoln cent is perhaps the most exciting year you could ever hope to find in your collection. Specifically, we are talking about the holy grail of modern pennies, the 1969S double die obverse. This is not just an error. It is a legendary coin that has made headlines for years because of its incredible rarity and its massive price tag. The error on this coin is impossible to miss if you know where to look. When you examine the obverse, look at the word Liberty, the phrase In God We Trust, and the date 1969. On a genuine double die, you will see clear, dramatic doubling on all of these elements. This happened when the die used to strike the coins was misaligned during the hubbing process. It is arguably the most famous double die error since the 1955 version, and it is a coin that every major collector dreams of owning. Now, let's talk about the value, because this is where the 1969S truly stands out. Because so few of these were ever discovered, the market value is astronomical. Even in lower circulated grades, these coins can sell for thousands of dollars. If you find a high-grade, certified example in mint state condition, the value can easily jump to over $10,000, and truly top-tier specimens have even reached record-breaking prices at elite auctions. Finding one of these in your pocket change would be the ultimate jackpot moment for any numismatist.
The 1982 Lincoln cent is arguably the most confusing and potentially profitable year in the entire series. Why?
Because this was the year the US Mint transitioned from 95% copper to copper-plated zinc. For a collector, this means you aren't just looking for one coin. You are looking for specific weight differences that can turn a common penny into a high-value find. To identify what you have, you need a precise scale. The copper version weighs 3.11 grams, while the zinc version is lighter, weighing 2.5 grams. Most people ignore these, but the rare variants are where the money is. The most famous one is the 1982 D small date copper cent. This is a true rarity. While millions of these were produced, only a handful of the 1982 D small date pennies were accidentally struck on copper planchets. Because they are so incredibly scarce, they are the holy grail for modern penny hunters. When it comes to market value, this is serious business. A certified 1982 D small date copper penny in high-grade condition, like MS64 or higher, is easily a $1,000 to $5,000 plus coin. We have even seen specimens sell for significantly more at major auctions. Because these coins look identical to the naked eye, the only way to find them is to weigh every single 1982 penny you find. If you have a small date that tips the scale at 3.11 grams, you have found a major numismatic treasure.
Don't let these slip through your fingers just because they look like regular pocket change. The 1982 transition created a unique window for errors and variety rarities that collectors are constantly chasing. If you are serious about your collection, start weighing your 1982s today. The difference between a 1-cent coin and a $1,000 payday is literally a fraction of a gram. If you have a 1982 Lincoln penny, I want to know if you have checked the weight yet. Let me know in the comment section below if you found any of these copper small date rarities. If you enjoyed this deep dive into numismatic history, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to our channel for more stories about the world's rarest coins. See you in the next video.